giants were all over the place. I don't really think that there's much debate whether they're even existed at all anymore.
In Britain and Malta, and this is one of the reasons is because the Jews are told that the promised land was for them, and the point being that once the angels left, the promised land was for them. And what you don't understand is that the promised land is Israel. It's Britain. Okay, it's angel land of the angels. Okay, built by giants.
Anglo-Saxon. Yeah,
well,
angel.
It was promised to the tribes of Israel. Right? So when the first tribes of Israel arrived in Cornwall, they arrived, and the original British people recognized their right to be there and said, Cornwall, we recognize your right. And now you know this because in Cornwall, there's a place called Mara Zion, Bitter Zion. The reason it's called that is because when the Jews arrived after Troy, they told the Jews that were already there of Zion's fall, of Israel's fall, and they named the place Bitter Zion. We are bitter about Zion. This is now Mara Zion. And that's in Cornwall. So there's Jews.
Is that to do? Or is that linked up with? Is that linked up with like King Arthur and that whole kind of narrative and Wales and the Welsh and because it seems to be a bit of a subculture almost, doesn't it?
I'm pretty sure that I've talked to Campbell about this before, but the rest of you, do you know about the Temple Mount location in Jerusalem not being what we call the Temple Mount?
Well,
I've talked to Campbell.
I've heard of. Yeah, you've gone over that in detail, Beags, with me and Campbell on a couple of streams before.
Okay. That's just one of my favorite research rabbit holes that I try to keep.
I love the fact that in that you've included that it's like there was a spring that erupted twice there.
Spring, yes. The Gihon spring. The only spring in the area.
Right, what you got to understand about this, right? Let's say that, for example, that the Bible was true and that like the devil did erupt from a city.
Careful now! I'm standing in front of a church with a full church choir that I had to mute myself out as I walked by, as you were swearing profusely.
The point is that the devil would want you to not believe it's his city. So let's say if the devil emerged in London, he doesn't want you to know it's London. He'll tell you it's Israel. And that, I think this is a big part of the way that the twisting is. Because, like, for example, we have a piece
Where is Hillary Clinton these days?
Was that right? In Wales, there's a place called Nevern, and there's a piece of the cross
that's Hillary
crucified on.
No.
In Nevern, right? Buried a piece of Jesus's crucifixion cross, right? So the question behind this is, did it come to Britain or was it already in Britain, right? And if it was already in Britain, that means Jesus was crucified in Britain, which means that all the Jesus events happened in Britain. Which would
now, if we're going to go blasphemous, triggering people in Moscow.
Oh my God.
Trigger warning. Have you heard of the Jesus in Japan thing before?
Jesus in Japan.
You guys are literally going to get me crucified if the choir behind me hears what you guys are saying.
Guys, look, I've studied every religion around the world, and when it comes to Jesus, just take everything you know and throw it out and start over, okay? Because what you've been told was not true. So start fresh.
Yeah,
and it just there's more to the story. It's just not the story that we've been told.
In fact, a way to look at it is that we might all have the same story, but told from different places, right? So again, when I was doing last night's video, this came up that there was a place called Ormuz, right? There was a city called Ormuz. It got destroyed, and the people moved to a volcanic island, and they called the island Ormuz.
See, in the chat, they're saying Jesus was literally traveled everywhere.
Well, the thing is, right, is Jesus might have been in one place, but the people he was around might have moved. And then they've got to their new place and gone, oh, Jesus was here. But he wasn't here. He was over there, but they've moved. And it's the same like...
I just got one thing to add. When did they invent the letter J? Does anybody know? Let's start there.
To be fair...
1600s? Yeah.
Right, I'm going to tell you this.
We should start there. If we're going to go there, let's start there.
The English language
is
fabricated, okay? It is fake, okay? I'm telling you right now.
It says 1478 to 1550 was around the time it was invented.
I'm telling you, English is fake. I'm telling it you. English is fake, right? You can go to the 14th century and be presented with English language, and you can.
I agree with you, Luke, because when I look into a lot of religious texts, the translations into English are so ridiculous. It's unbelievable sometimes.
You can go back 100 years past English you can understand, and you'll suddenly be like, what the fuck is this? Right? There's no nice curve. There's no understanding of cohesion. It's just one day it's kind of almost English, and then one day it is English. And it literally is. It's just one day it's who's thou, you know. And it's,
are we talking about English, or are we talking about that shit that you talk over there?
No, I'm talking about proper
English.
We're talking UK drill slang here. We got
stuff in England.
Jack 47 in the house.
Right. Hey, if you want some truth, you know Roman.
Speak English, motherfucker.
English, motherfucker.
And this is why I ended the stream on my monetized channel and only on my larger unmonetized.
You would not know English if it came up and politely asked you to shut up.
So I'm going to say, right, Roman language, we don't have a single piece of Roman from before the 12th century. It's all copies, right? I guarantee you, there's no Roman before the 12th century, right? It's all copied into Roman, which was a dead language, right? So at some point in the 12th,
Latin. So yeah. Are we talking Latin?
No, Latin, seriously, right? There's no old Latin. In fact, all the old Latin you'll find is actually called Pig Latin. It's wrong. And they go, oh, these guys didn't understand it. Well, what if the people that were writing on stones did understand it, and we're the ones that fucks it up? Like, this is the point that Latin...
Now, why do they...
Go on.
Sorry, just to go completely sideways, why do they call it Pig Latin and Pig English? And there's that whole tie between people and pigs.
Well, I mean, that
sideways.
Well, to be fair,
I thought it was cops.
Humans and pigs share the same skin, so
that's racist.
I'm not kidding. You could, if you were to switch organs with an animal, your pig's your best.
I'm building a hog pen right now.
They can literally. Sorry, they can put pig hearts and organs and stuff in humans. Yeah, skin grafts, everything. It works pretty well, but when you laugh, you start going. Good.
I mean, maybe that's why the Muslims say to not eat pig.
And the Jewish and Orthodox Christians.
Yeah. Well, are they saying it's not, or are they saying it's not? It's like that joke, right? Oh, is my nose bleeding? No, it's not. Oh.
But
where are you at, Bernie?
He's moving about. That's what he's doing.
He's giving us a live tour of God's realm.
Lurking somewhere.
He's enlightening us. We should all be inspired.
Although one thing I will tell you guys, right, is that we are lied to about Europe's history. So if this is the best thing, right? Goes to the 8th century in Britain. There's a guy called King Offa, who was king of a place called Mercia, which pretty much takes up most of North England. And if you find his coins, you can find written in Arabic on them, Allah is the only God. Now, normal history will tell you that he had that written on his coins to make it easier to trade with Spain. You imagine that, hey guys, don't worry about this, just in case you want to trade with Spain, you know, fucking Allah written on it, right? And then you go to the 14th
we'll just announce our God for trade. Yeah.
Exactly, right? You'll find more from the 13th to 14th century medieval British coins with Allah on it, but the most important is that 8th century, because that means that in the 8th century, there was at least somebody in Britain that thought Allah was the only God. And if you add that in, you start saying, well, a couple centuries before, Arthur was there and he's supposed to be Christian. What if Arthur's Muslim? What if, what if Magnus Maximus was Muslim? Oh, well, that puts a twist on the Roman Empire.
That's where the whole thing comes in.
Then the question becomes, is it Muslim, or is it, because, we've got this whole, was there really just one, not the right word, but religion, right? One sort of thought and yeah.
Yeah, we should clarify that in certain old books.
I don't think they needed religion. I don't think God needs religion. We don't need religion to have God, to be with God, to
well, it's to
God. I think
religion,
religion
right?
is something
To turn
that the
the
control
back into
came up with to control.
Well, religion is an accident. Okay,
to
God turned up.
religion us.
Hey guys, don't worry. I'm going to be coming back in a few years. Just everybody chill. It's fine.
We're
And they came
triggering
back.
people.
It was like, why are you killing each other?
I think
And they were like, no, because we love you. And he was like, no, just chill, just don't do anything. And he comes back, and they've all got fucking armies.
Because the first commandment is "Thou shalt not kill," so let's kill in God's name.
Well, exactly.
Well, that's where
makes
Stuff
sense to me.
Beagle. What Stuff Beagle said applies to that, because he's saying that it was created by the controllers, which makes sense because if you look at at least the mainstream monotheistic religions, especially if you're thinking of Eastern Orthodox Christianity, they literally wear like hijabs to this day, just like Muslims do.
Oh well, yeah.
The connections between the religions are so strong. There are minor differences, yes, but overall the stories are the exact same. The exact same characters, the exact same prophets. Everything is the same. So they just it seems like at some point they may have just divided it up to see what worked best in each area or something. If there are people who control everything.
Well, they also wanted to create division. Now, let me just state something. If the theory is correct that the city of David is the actual location of the temple of Solomon, then that means that the Dome of the Rock is not the temple location, which means that all this land that they're fighting over today, there is no reason to fight. And these religions can stop fighting and we can become, peaceful instead of fighting over a damn piece of land that ain't what they think it is.
They don't want us to be peaceful.
Right, you've answered it for yourself. So who are the actual, I don't want to go too deep into this for monetization, but the actual Jews that are in Israel are Kazakh Jews, pretty much. They're the 13th tribe, right?
Well, there's two sides. There's people that protest against what they're doing, so don't discredit those people that are Jewish.
Or the Zionists, because those are both separate. They're similar, but they're separate.
If you go by official history, the Kazakhs were given the choice of joining Christianity, Muslim, or Judea, and they chose Judea. They even changed all the names to literally sound like Obadiah stuff, right? And then the next thing they know is the World War II, and then they move to Israel and say we're the real Jews. So the thing is, you've got to understand is that
exactly. So they're false.
It's a false. Right? So,
let's call them the Don Men. Don't say the J word anymore. Just call them Don Men.
Yeah, let's just imagine that the real place is either in Britain or America or Serbia or it's somewhere else. Point is we're not looking at it. The war's happening over there.
Okay, guys. We got the Western Wall on what we call the Temple Mount, correct? Will we all agree?
I think it's part of a bigger city structure.
Wailing Wall is
I think the whole thing.
But yes.
Slow your rolls. Okay, we got the Western Wall. What is the Western Wall supposed to be?
Slow your rolls.
Part of the temple, right?
Wall on the west.
It's supposed to be a part of the temple. That's why the Jews go up and bang their head on it, okay? Now,
the original temple.
If you read in the Bible, they tore down the temple, every stone down to the foundation. So what the fuck is the Western Wall? It can't be.
Right. We know that Israel's rebuilt, but what I'm trying to say is that if you were the devil, isn't the best trick to trick the people to not even pray at the right place?
I'll do you one better. Who says there's a devil?
Well, no, but I'm just saying, just imagine, hypothetically, evil people, right? Let's say evil people. It doesn't have to be the devil, just dickheads, right?
Haven't you seen the pictures?
Right?
Hey, I'll give you
that's how simple it is, right? Imagine you've got a picture on the wall of Jesus and a picture on the wall of Satan, right? As soon as Jesus leaves the room, Satan swaps the name tags. That's how simple it is, okay? He just swaps the name tags. So when the guy with the horns walks in, devil.
AKA Luciferianism.
Well, no, but the thing is, the point we're being tricked.
Okay, here's another thing.
The devil is horned.
They tore down the temple and they kicked the Jews out for 1,000 years. Okay, they didn't come back, right? And so the first people that come back, guess was who? The Christians. Okay, and they take their happy ass up in there and they say this is the Temple Mount because they see this big structure, which by the way is what's called Fort Antonia. It's not the little corner of what we call the Temple Mount. The whole fucking thing is Fort Antonia.
Because I'm telling you, it's fake.
Okay. And the Temple Mount was actually below it, below the Ophel. And you go down, and it's right near the Gihon Springs. That is the original location of the Temple Mount that was torn down to the very foundations.
Well, if you listen to David Owen Jr., he'll say that the Star Forts were part of Solomon's water system because he apparently built this huge lake system. That sort of stuff.
Oh, that's fascinating that you say that. Sorry, Luke, I have to cut you off because there's a Solomon temple in the Grand Canyon Pyramid Complex, and that I believe that entire area was dammed up in a giant water going city.
This is the point, though. Like we imagine, like say, that we're the most advanced. So what if there was a genuine world government with a King Solomon who said, "I'm going to build all this and do all this"? You know, you've got to exploit different ideas, and this is the point about moving stuff, right? So by creating a world where this happened all in here, go fight over that. You're not fighting. You're nowhere near the real artifacts. Think about it. Imagine if the Ark is in Wales and you're fucking fighting over Israel, right? You know, that's the point. Like, for example, the cross of Jesus is supposed to be in heaven, right? Like, the point is the real artifacts are far away. Like Ethiopia, that comes up with Billy Carson all the time, right? So that's definitely not true. If a guy on the fucking, on TV on Ancient Aliens is saying go to Ethiopia, it's not there, right? And that's how simple it is. They want to right? Because what do they want? They want the promised land for the promise. They see themselves as the promise. And what has Britain done? It's done Brexit. Keep all the immigrants out. That's it. Okay, Britain.
Hey, we built a wall.
Land. It's the secret promised land where they.
Well, you didn't really.
You did Brexit. We built a wall.
Effort.
Come on, America.
It's a bad wall.
I'm telling you what it is. Britain was the city or the country of the Nephilim or the angels who built cities, and then
Lord,
they've left.
Don't get me started on this.
Whatever race of definitely taller people as.
So who were the angels?
Well, the angel land.
I mean, this would. Have you read the Oralinda book? Talks about that they founded and inhabited the UK, and that it was the top end was used as like copper mines and that, but they came down from a sunken island up in the north and came down. So I mean, is that the angels, these big, tall, white people? But I mean, that's how they're described, right? Like, who are these people?
I'll show you this, right? So you've heard about Tartarians.
Or do they come from space?
I've heard about Tartaria.
You've heard about Tartarian giants, right?
I have.
Yeah, and you've heard of Gog Magog in the Bible. Yeah, right. So in Britain, the last giant killed by Brutus was called Gog Magog, right? And the Cambridgeshire, Cambridgeshire Hills called.
Well, he might have been called Bill. I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is that
we're told it,
right?
We're told
Tartar is supposed to be from the tribes of Israel. England and Wales supposed to be from the tribes of Israel. The same people, right? So they got the same stories. So the same stories have just moved out to different places. The same stories, Gog Magog. Brutus was supposedly killed the last giant when he came to Britain. Welsh folklore say Britain was inhabited by giants. You go to Anglo-Saxon poetry after the comet, it says the work of giants was destroyed. And all the people that could have fixed it were dead. And they were giants, right? And
Albion, when it used to be called Albion, that's what they change all the names around too. That's the other thing they do, right?
Well, yeah. So in folklore, Albion was a giant, like a titan whose body was used as Britain. And then there's the real Albion, which is Albine, who was a Syrian lord, king from Assyria in 1600.
And then you got albino, the white people.
Well, in fact, albino, white people. Think about this, right? Caucasian literally means from the region of Caucasus. Okay, Caucasians, the Circassians, the Tartarians.
The Caucasus Mountains. Yeah,
Caucasians. We're all from a tiny place, tiny place. Caucasians.
I think I have told some of y'all about my Lake Cannabis theory, where they blew it up and they took out. They made the Grand Canyon or blew out the Grand Canyon. I think. I told you? It's hard to remember who I told what, but basically Lake Cannabis, the heart-shaped Lake Cannabis that we see on maps, I believe was in the area
the one that
east of Utah.
On the west
Lake
coast,
City, sort of. And that they blew that out. There was a
kind of inland from the west. Static in the attic did a bit of work on it.
What?
This person in the comment, Kakashian are Dagestan. In Dagestan, there's actually a canyon similar to the Grand Canyon, and there's also a random sand dune that's like in the middle of nowhere.
Really?
Most sand dunes are connected to the sea and have all this wind and stuff that causes them.
You
But
follow the here.
I gotta check
let me
that out.
share. Let me share screen for a second, Cam. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, man.
Let me get it pulled up, and then
I'll post the Dagestan canyon in the chat.
Oh, come on. I was all ready, man. Now what am I going to do? Give me your work done.
You could share my my screen real quick if he's not ready.
Yours isn't there either. I've only got 5
it's
down
coming
there.
right as soon as I can find it in this list.
The Grand Canyon made by lightning. Ooh. I mean, that's, we do see these. What are they called?
I think they're being plasma.
The lightning lines. Yeah, what are those lines we see?
I'm ready whenever.
What's the
Go
word?
ahead first, Big. That's fine.
I'll remember in a minute. Someone tell me in chat.
Do Beags real quick. I'll just post this in the chat.
Man.
Anyone can look this up if that wants to. This is the Grand Canyon in Dagestan, basically. It's actually deeper than the Grand Canyon, but show Beags' screen. I'll just post this in the chat for anyone who wants to look into it.
Oh, that's awesome. Beags, you got to share screen before we can share it.
It should be sharing.
We got it.
You got it?
That's you, B.
Okay.
Yep, got you.
All right. Okay, what you're looking at here is the United States on Google Earth. My theory is that Lake Connibus is right here, the heart shape, and that when they blew it out, there was a city. If you look on old maps, there's a city in the center of Lake Connibus. And I believe that they blew it out in 3 places, or the explosion went 3 different ways. One way it went to the north, west, and it created what we know as Salt Lake City, Salt Lake. And then the other 2, one is to the east, down at the bottom here. You see a blowout right here, and then the one that goes to the west, and that created it went through the Colorado River and blew out the Grand Canyon. And this was if you can imagine that this is a whole sea, this whole thing right here is
get rid of that. Had to be, if it's salt water, it would have had to been connected to like the oceans at one point, right? It's like trapped water.
I don't know if it was salt water or if there was some sort of radiation or something that caused, kind of like over here, the same thing I believe happened over here in Sodom and Gomorrah. And created
go northeast Siberia, you'll see some weird shit
right here. I believe that the same deal with Sodom and Gomorrah, where it created the Dead Sea, is the same thing that happened in Salt Lake.
Okay, now go west to the tip of north, and now northeast.
Go west.
Right.
Life is peaceful there.
Further north.
Tip of Siberia.
Right, zoom in on there. Right, zoom in on the land on the left now. On the left, Siberia. Yeah, zoom in on that. Look at some of the land going around at the top north area. All right, get right in close and see some of the actual groundwork around that. It's really freaky.
Well, this is where I believe they basically bombed them out.
That's what people think.
Area.
Yeah. Zoom in on this stuff, you'll see what it's like.
Yeah, like that just looks like total annihilation. Like,
I just posted a map. I posted a map in the
nickel.
chat for everyone. If you want to compare this to what it looked like in the past, I just posted a map.
Another thing to think for people, by the way, is if it isn't bombing, look at the water. All it would take is a slight raise in water levels, and that whole thing would be underwater, basically. So
now we have the same phenomena in America also as well.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, it's another way to look at it.
They call them bays in America.
Right. They call them bays because of the trees that are around them. But they call them the Carolina Bays. And basically, they're these marks like these. These are White Lake is definitely the story goes. Now, White Lake, they say, was a meteor, but it was probably the same thing. But these are different.
I took my hoodie off for free, by the way, so donation.
That's not the gist of it. What?
We got Joe Rogan's DMTL saying this stream is an
I was
event
just
for
saying that
sure.
the hoodie came off for free, so my shirt will come off for £25 donated to my Buy Me a Coffee.
Please sub this fool. So
There
he
you
can,
go.
play his
Hold
$100
yourself back, girls.
by the end of the night. Everybody sub me.
We don't want any riots
Let's go sub
starting.
him.
Yeah, if you want to check.
We're trying to get his sub count to go above 10,000 to impress his mama.
Yeah.
Campbell, can you share my
Of course. And guys, by the way, I've been trying to hit 75K for like, I don't know, 2 months, because of course I get 2 to 3,000 subs every month, and it takes me 2 months to go up like 500 subs. I'm literally at, what am I at? I'm at 74,900 and something.
Yeah,
So,
you're 100 away
just
from
subscribe to me if you're
75.
not.
Fresh.
Oh, you're right there.
Yet a month ago, you
I'll
reached
even undo
75,000. I saw it, Campbell. I wish I had
Campbell,
screenshotted
you
it, and
gotta
they
show
knocked
some
you back
skin,
down
brother.
the same
You gotta
day.
do it.
I'm willing.
That's how I got
I'm willing
Shim's
to
numbers
show
up.
a
I
bit of
showed some
skin.
skin.
If that's going to help me, let me know.
That's right.
Little
Appreciate
help.
Campbell
that,
is
Biggs.
willing to show the skin, and you
Gotta show
can
the skin,
see it
son.
all over
if you want
at.
the code for the if you want me to, let me know, and I'll put the code
There we
for
go.
the special OnlyFans video.
Campbell
There you
showing
go.
the skin.
If you want to see more skin than that, it will cost you
Oh my God.
a sub, basically. A
That's
subscription.
right.
I'm cheap. I'm cheap. Just
Me
subscribe.
and Cam,
I'll get it
me and
all
Cam,
off. Just subscribe
because
to me.
I actually research, and then I can just tell it to Cam. And he
Let
can
me feel the fabric of your
yeah.
fiber. Come on.
I could do a striptease, and Luke could be going, and now he's taking off his shirt. As he
No, he's got to do that
down
voice
his
that he
back and
does.
slides
It'll
down the
appear
arm.
on
He
Shemmail's
is
Tartarian
very
Truth
muscle.
featuring Beags Crack.
removed his
Oh my
clothes.
God.
He's
I
looking
can-
for extra donations
David
from his
Attenborough describes
OnlyFans.
Campbell.
No, Dick. You want more of that? You
Cam-
come to my.
Hey, Campbell, can you share my screen quickly?
And here we are at the OnlyCam site, and you'll see the specimen of
I
Campbell.
tell you what, how many of your
Sorry.
fans
I'll
will pay real money to send you and me on a real life road trip? Right?
Yeah,
I feel like that's
let's ask.
the right
How
amount
many
of
of you would give us real
Yeah.
money to
Where's
do a
that
real
Richard
road
Paul
trip?
at?
a 28-year-old
Trip.
British
What would
Every
gonna
stream
call
I'm
it?
on, people talk about going on a
Questions-
fucking road trip. It's crazy.
Australian commence a trip across the
Questions
world.
and comments. What was it? Yeah. Who wants to
Mate,
do it?
Yeah, this is
I'll
kinda
even.
cool.
How about this? If you guys fund it, I'll take my shirt off in different locations, in front of different buildings, and then
Oh my God.
if you want to give lots of money, I'll put it back on again.
Oh, here's one, right? If someone buys me a ticket to Australia, I will film the annoying Cam live for the entire duration of
There
my
you
trip.
go. I need a cameraman.
What are we looking at here? What am
Okay,
I-
so this is stuff.
Why
people
do I
just
have a
showed-
feeling an
yes.
Andrew Tate sort of scandal is going to form out of this
history.
community?
Zip it, Skippy.
If you want to escape
So
the Matrix, you have
here-
to find Tartaria.
We were just looking at the area in northern Siberia, and this is what it looked like according to this 1450 map. So you saw how on that map all those bays were there, and it looked completely destroyed. But in 1450, apparently, this entire area was filled with giant cities and giant structures. Now there's nothing.
Is
there.
it upside down to us today? Is that
It
the,
is. We're looking
Okay.
south. Yeah.
They did that a lot back then. Okay.
So
right.
yeah, for
It is-
reference, this is Siberia up here. Here's Japan over here.
Look, you see that? Look, that's
Right,
where
right,
that rock
okay.
band Sepultura comes from. Did you see it?
No, there's
Sorry.
Cat's Eye.
I just
Right,
said
this one thing I want to
Sepultura.
bring up, by the way, is that the
Sepultura.
magnetic North Pole does move, right? It fully does move, and it moves quite a bit. If you actually Google how much it moves, it's quite a lot. But that's not true North. It doesn't spin the planet. It changes magnetics. But they've had
Oh, Lord.
since the 12th century. So imagine that you were using a compass making your map in the 12th century, and it's telling you that North is in Canada, and you make your map, and then a few 100 years later you're making new maps. You're using the old ones thinking they haven't changed. So when like Portuguese people turn up and ask for maps, you give them your maps, so they think, oh, okay, this is correct. Like you'll see the Caspian Sea is displayed east to west instead of north to south. What if that's because the north was in Canada and their compasses were telling them that north was that way. So they've drawn.
Well, it's very possible that we've had pole shift, things like that.
I'm talking.
Sorry, guys, to interrupt. I gotta go. If you're still in a little bit, I'll rejoin.
All right,
see you later, Bernie.
I'm not talking about
Bernie. Well, say hi to God for me.
I'm talking about a slow-moving pole shift, as in you don't know.
I'll put in a prayer for you all.
Over 400 years, the poles have moved from Canada to the Arctic, and the people making the maps don't.
Shout out God, we love God.
Right, so they won't know, and they'll make their maps, and you won't realize when you're getting their maps that you're getting information based on a pole in a different place.
What, I mean, and this map is also upside down, isn't it? This is the one that's drawn upside down, like as far as most maps, like north is. Well,
yeah. Oh,
it's upside down.
There is the horror story, which is basically admit that water levels were different based on old, which is a horror story because it just raises so many fucking questions. But it's a very big possibility because. You won't like this, but the way that globe Earth works includes a bulge at the equator. So if you did twist a planet, it would mean that like certain
what the hell?
What?
I thought it was an oblate spheroid. Now it's an oblate spheroid with a bulge at the middle. What is that?
We just agree on certain things. Don't hate me. I'm just saying it'd be easy to explain because like because on a flat Earth you have to raise like all water levels kind of all at the same time. But on a globe you can just spin the planet a bit, and that means that
you're killing me, Junior. You're killing me.
Oh, just right. Look, hey, just for the record, I'm fine with it being flat. I don't.
Let the man speak.
Right?
He's a globalist. Illuminati confirmed.
This is what they want. They want us to argue over the shape. They don't want you to fucking focus on the truth.
I didn't know it was an argument. I didn't know. I thought we'd already settled this.
No, when people sigh, I've got to defend myself. I know that people have different opinions. I disagree on certain things, but we're all on the same side. That's all I mean.
Luke, when was King Offa in England?
It was 9th century, 800.
Okay.
And it sounds a lot like King Arthur, doesn't it? King Arthur.
And, guys, I am
it's
biased,
just like a British way of saying King Arthur. It's King Arthur, mate.
Yeah,
King
when he first said it, that's what I thought I was saying was King Arthur, but I looked into it and I found it was Offa.
All your viewers that I'm biased because if the Earth turned out to be flat, I'd have to like throw out so much research. Just like fuck it, right? So I'm biased, dude. I've got
Man, I had people come to my house and tell me I had to research it, like literally, because I refused to. I had people come to my house and say, you have to research flat Earth. And I was like, what the fuck?
Well, I had trouble with flat Earth. That one gave me that. I had trouble accepting that one.
Well, as well, though, you've got to see it from like a point of view of as
I know, right? I had to give up my aliens, but then I found them again.
As someone that doesn't believe, when you don't flat Earth,
is this map frozen?
If somebody does believe in it, you won't listen to them. So, for example, Campbell, if somebody listens to you and they don't believe flat Earth, they'll hear you think flat Earth and they'll be like, fuck that, right? And that's a barrier that we need to get over.
Yeah.
I'm not deciding on how it works, but I do believe it's flat. I definitely feel that that's, yeah.
Well, I just work in a way that things get more complex, not more simple. So if I'm thinking like, oh, it should be a ball, it'll probably be like a fucking multi-dimensional ball that I can't even comprehend. You know,
something happened with one.
But like I said, I don't care about that.
I mean, for all we know, the whole damn thing is a simulation, and it doesn't. All this shit's just let's get real.
What I do know is that, like, you know, if you try and
we're just in the holodeck of the Star Trek Enterprise, man.
It's just, I mean, it's very possible we're just God's mind, and God's thinking up a bunch of shit at one time.
I think you're very
just God's mind, working, chilling, thinking, being God, creating. Why not?
But at the same time, like, you don't need a flat Earth for that. Like, although I think one of the best answers for flat Earth
you don't need an Earth at all. It can just all be a thought.
One of the best examples of flat Earth would be if higher intelligences were involved, and I could really accept that they've gone, right, grab a chunk of this planet and let's fucking work on a species. Like, I could get.
It comes more from the creation point of view, where globe Earth is from the scientific, scientism point of view. So I'd agree with that.
So is it to you? Are the religious texts just like an allegory for the shape of the Earth, then, or what does it mean to you?
I mean, that's a very hard question when you consider it. It could be dependent on like how simple the people were when they were told. Like I said, I would be happy to accept that was the case. I mean,
they talk about the flat Earth in the early text, and then they switch.
Well, hypothetically, if you want to go simulation theory, right? If you take like No Man's Sky, you're on a ball, but you're not. You're always flat, and it could be exactly the same for us. Like you are on a ball, but you're always flat because of the way the game works. It could easily be like that. Like I said, they want us to fixate on this, though. This is the point, because so many people in the truther community that believe true stuff also believe in flat Earth. So say you believe in flat Earth, a load of people will just be like, bullshit. And that's the point. That's why they do it.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, so like think about the
so do I, because especially because there's such a big sort of UFO space kind of truther community. It's like puts a division straight down the middle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it cuts us in half. Yeah, exactly. You're the idiot.
I mean, I cut my teeth on Ancient Aliens back 2008-ish. I mean, when I first woke up, I was like, oh, this stuff's great.
Well,
now, I still love the archaeology, but the Ancient Aliens part, just throw that out.
I've seen people arguing over whether the aliens are or they're actual independent species. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, Like, this is the point. It's division. It's that same thing as, like, putting name tags. Where are you from? Australia, America, this, that. Are you gay, straight, whatever, you're man, woman. It's just box, tiny box. You're on your own, right? They don't want you to sit and go, oh, shit, I'm just like an avatar of a fucking multi-dimensional being, Well,
this is my biggest issue with the truther community is that people are starting to behave exactly like the community that we left to begin with. The entire reason that a lot of us came to this movement was because we wanted to have open minds to everything and not behave that way and not exclude people from certain things because of their beliefs. And
I spent the last year going up again and going up to different people in the community and saying, hey, I don't exactly agree with this. And I would question them on it, and I would get like flack hitting me left and right. And I just finally just said, fuck it, y'all deal with the hog.
Yeah, and that's why I don't get mad at you for your censorship, because I know that you've been through it. That's why I'm still,
honestly,
I respect you.
I will tell you when you here's the way you went down. Okay, and I think I've explained this well enough to you, but I'll tell you again. I had been in fight after argument after fight after argument for a year. Okay. And then one day you leave a comment on my John Levy interview video, and you were being a smartass about John Levy, and which is fine. I don't have any problem with that. But then I went to look at your channel and I saw what you were doing. And I thought, you know what? I don't need this shit. I've had too much bullshit going on. And I blocked you because I just, when you've had enough, you've had enough. And you don't want more. And it just gets old. And it wasn't you personally. It was just I'd had a fucking enough.
And I got that. That's why that's why I had enough. That's why I don't care, because I knew that this is a step forward in the community, because people need to understand that you can criticize each other without hating each other. We needed to behave like our ancestors and be more open to having conversations that we don't agree with.
Hey, truth, man. You probably maybe need to like put a disclaimer on your channel, because I remember, obviously I've only been in this for a couple of weeks. When I first saw you, it was on that dude's video the other day, and like I assumed you were like a dickhead. I was like, oh
no, I am a dickhead. I'm not trying to be cool and try to be able to. I'm a piece of shit. Literally, I'm straight up just a piece of shit. But
I will. That's another thing that I would like to say is that I'm 50 years old, and I do not get why people enjoy the trolling thing. I don't understand it.
There's a lot of layers to what I'm doing, and one of them is trying to get people to understand that you don't necessarily have to agree with someone in order to be friends with them or communicate with them. You can literally make fun of people and still be friends with them and still be respectful and still be nice.
One in particular,
because it's so sensitive now that I have to be so extreme with this stuff. I literally got banned from Robert Seffer's Facebook group for asking a very simple question, and I don't remember what it was, but I was completely shocked because, like I said, I came to the community looking for that different behavior that escape from reality, basically, like a different alternative way of living life. But the people who are the leaders of this community are behaving exactly like the elite that everyone claims to be fighting against. They ban people for the most simple, ridiculous reasons. You know what I mean?
Are you saying that I'm not a leader of this community? I'm
no, you are, and I think you are.
I'm either offended or I'm an asshole.
Everyone in this community.
I'm
not saying. I'm saying like
the one guy.
But this is the thing: is like they'll always give you a hero,
sure.
right? If people are looking, like alternative history came up through Graham Hancock, pretty much, and now look at all the different people that they put up for us, and you go to them for alternative viewpoints. But like you say, if you ask a question that's outside of their alternative viewpoint, then now you're a shill.
Well, it ties back into what Beagle was saying originally, though.
Right. Graham Hancock has been allowed on it because he's presenting an alternative view that doesn't actually go against the alternative view. The view is that it was just an ancient civilization, right? All this stuff is still ancient, but
way back in the past. Yeah,
exactly. They don't want to talk about like the possibility.
Whoa, hold on, Junior. Hold on. Graham Hancock has been doing this
again
before we all were in fucking roles. Okay, so you got to give him credit where credit was due. He didn't have the information when he started making his material that we have now. So we have to give him the respect that he deserves.
Totally.
Some shit wrong,
totally.
But he also got some shit right.
Nothing against Graham.
At the same time, you're not appearing on Joe Rogan, are you? You're not presenting vanilla.
Have you got a watch on your wrist?
You know what I mean? Like,
have you got an Anunnaki watch, Beags?
Oh, I thought you meant me.
I was Beags has got an Anunnaki watch tattooed on his wrist.
That's pretty cool.
He's got two of them.
Well, just in case one
like the watches, the Anunnaki, that you need a strap. You need to go back. We need to get a beagle tattoo fund going so we can get the rest of the watch. Like, he hasn't got the strap.
But anyway,
sorry, what were you saying?
Right. So with Graham Hancock, like I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I love the show on Netflix and stuff and all this stuff. But what I mean by is these theories don't go against science, right? As in, science says we're 220,000 years old as we.
But they did when he first came out. You got to understand, we're whippersnappers compared to this dude.
That's true.
His story goes against science.
When he came out, he was revolutionary. His shit was on point. But he got some shit wrong, and he did. We got some shit wrong too, y'all. We ain't perfect.
Guys, I think we all need to calm and cleanse.
No, hey, we're agreeing on the same point. What you're misunderstanding me. What I'm saying is, his point of view is still mainstream. Get me? Because like, even though he's saying different stuff, it still fits in with the narrative. As in, like, that humans are X amount of years old. We might have had an older civilization, but do you get what I mean? As in, it goes against current history, but it doesn't go against like the narrative. It's just saying, okay, there was an older civilization. Whereas something going against the narrative would be like, antiquity, like energy before we had it.
It's a stepping stone.
Yes.
It's just a piece of the puzzle.
Graham's ideas are more meldable to the
then we move on. And we built. Look, I'm standing on Hancock's shoulders. Okay, I'm stomping him down. Okay, and showing where he went wrong. And then somebody's going to come along with me and stomp me down.
Hello, Graham.
That's how we do it.
No, that's the point.
Everybody's going to build on everybody else.
I agree totally.
The question is,
I've met Graham. I've got a photo with Graham, dude. He was really cool.
Not presenting the truth, is he? Are the elites going to let him appear on Netflix and Joe Rogan showing his fucking truth? No.
Illuminati confirmed. Sorry.
Like
the rogues that got him. Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, I think that I think a lot of these people get used as far as they're saying something that can be useful for the controllers and that, and so they're allowed to speak. It's not always a sort of a situation where they're being told what to say and they're really, really part of the system. A lot of the time these people are just saying something that, and it's like, oh well, we'll let him go ahead because he's kind of taking the narrative where we want him to. But
these guys were at one point, they were like we are today. We're not very popular today, but neither were they when they first came out. Okay,
Yeah, we're not
exactly
what he says. We're just
man.
saying that,
In 15 years, we're going to be the dudes.
Well,
yeah, we've talked. You and I have talked about that.
When you first got into the stuff, though, like, what was the reason for getting into it? Was it because you were looking to be open-minded, or was it because you were thinking about, hey, I'm going to find out exactly how things are, and anyone who disagrees with me, I don't want anything to do with them. Like,
wait a minute, wait a minute. Get into what? Because I've been in this since 2008.
I guess the day that you had your awakening, or whatever people call it, like when you realized the mainstream was off in some way, shape, or form. What caused you to
okay. Long story short, in 2008, I'm watching TV and I saw a documentary on 2012. And I jumped up and I started researching because I thought there's no way in hell that could be possible. Hi.
Oh, he's gone.
It's my mama.
Oh, there he is.
Hi, Mama.
The nicest mom.
Hello, Bernie's mom. Hello.
100% nicest person.
Nicest
mom. Nicest mom ever.
Hello, Mrs.
We love my mama. She just helped me finish filing my stupid class action lawsuit against Purdue Pharmacy for 10 years of opiate prescriptions that screwed up my life, but I've now been off for 4. So doing all right, but hopefully I get something out of it.
And thank you, Mrs. Alchemist.
Hi, guys.
All right.
Have a good night.
Awesome.
Well done, Mom.
That's how
you. Nice to meet you.
Anywho, I came back in just to make it go live again because y'all are so awesome on my channel.
That's
sorry for you. Look like Robert Smith from The Cure. Can you start singing "Friday I'm in Love" or something?
No, look, we all get into this because we have questions. We find out one thing and then another thing and another thing. And we, at first, we don't want to believe that. Okay. I didn't want to believe the earth was flat. I didn't want to believe there was a mud flood. I didn't want to believe that there's a jet fuel hoax and that, 900 was an inside job. I didn't want to believe that fucking shit. Okay. But bound and fucking determined to prove that was not true, I did my fucking research.
That's how I got into that shit too.
And I did the due diligence.
Exactly right.
I've read thousands of books, man. I have watched so many videos and listened to so many hours of radio, and I have done my due diligence. I don't talk about this stuff, but I know about it. I know more about 9/11 and JFK than I know about mud flood. Okay, what does that tell you?
Ooh.
I don't know. Then what do you think about it?
Tells me that you're not allowed to speak about that stuff on YouTube or you'll get banned.
No, I don't talk about it because nobody gives a shit.
Beagle, baby, love you, but shut up a sec. Shem.
Oh.
I do love you, I'm sorry. Shem, what do you think about the shape of the earth? That, just for the record.
See, this is the point I'm trying to get to here. I don't know the shape of the earth, which is why.
Oh, he doesn't want to commit.
Oh, hold on. No, hold on. You need to understand where I'm coming from. I lean more towards a flat earth, but the reason I'm trying to say this is because it's up. I believe it's up to people like us to have an open mind in all situations and use our voices to, in our own words, to try to change the minds of people who disagree with us, as opposed to cutting them off completely. So I'm not saying I know the shape of the earth because I've never seen it. I have no way of proving it. Okay, I can lead towards one way or the other, but that doesn't mean I'm going to disagree with someone who believes in the globe and cut them out of my life. I'm going to take into consideration what they're saying and apply it to my own theories, everything that's valuable from that, and I'm going to be friends with them. I'm not going to be like, fuck you, you believe in the earth, which is what the community has become.
No. But here's the problem.
Yeah, we see it so often. Is people
hear it. They don't want to do the research.
You've already been told. You've been warned. Shut up.
Stick around, Cam. Right. You've got the next.
You too, Luke. Shut up. Everybody, shut up. I forgot what I was going to say. It was really good.
I'm not a liberal at all, by the way. I'm definitely not.
Lost control.
Sorry.
Yeah. This is the thing, like, questions are better than answers. So, is the answer of, is it flat or round, is that more important than the question of asking, where do we live? What is this reality? Have we been lied to? And this is what all these arguments that we see popping up through our little community are. They're all about, I'm right, you're wrong. They're all about the answer. The questions are more important than the answers. That's the way I see it. They are, and everyone's focusing on the answers.
Real world.
Most of them we can't prove, so they're false.
And right, you know what?
Okay, last year, okay, around in January, I was hearing about one of the meltologist researchers, and I asked to have an interview with them, and it didn't work out for who knows what reason.
Did you say meltologist?
Meltologist. Okay.
Very good. Well done.
And
thank you.
So
I know that must have been hard.
And in preparation for this interview, I started looking into this channel and their work, and I started noticing that one of the things they were talking about was cobblestone brick roads are actually melted brick roads. And so I looked into that and I thought, wait a minute, that's bullshit. And so I asked about that and I couldn't get a response. And so I made a video about it, and that really pissed them off. And so the more I tried to ask, the more they got pissed off, the more they started attacking me. And so then I just went at them and started picking apart their research. But the more I picked it apart, the more I destroyed them, the more they fought me. And there was no conversation back and forth, but I was pounding out and slamming their research, but they were just attacking me.
I agree with you, but think about the long game. The people who, if you entertain the idea that people control our world today, they have a manual of how they've been doing this, and they do slow steps to get to their goal. They don't care if they're alive when their goal is accomplished. So your mindset in that situation, in my opinion, you don't have to do this. I'm just some random fucking guy. But my opinion is your mindset in the situation should be to take the high road. That way, anyone who watches that later can see that you took the high road and you shared information. All those people will be affected. That guy that you're arguing with, he might come around later at some point in the future. That's not on you. You tried. You know what I mean? So don't lower yourself to his level, especially when we're trying to fight against these incredibly powerful people who destroyed our world. You know what I mean? We're fighting a battle against some crazy ass people if they actually exist.
Okay. 10,000 subscribers, I'll become a flat earther. But if we don't get to 10,000, Cam is becoming a round earther. That's how that works.
Look, I don't care if people are a flat earther or a glober or a hollow earther. I don't care about that. What I care about is, have you looked and done the research into these theories? If you have not, then why do you believe what you believe?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's a globe? Have you been up there and looked? No.
A lot of my globe earth theory is from the fact I feel like I'm not qualified to make it. And and again, like I said to you before, a lot of like my theories and world beliefs, just like the cognitive dissonance, would have to, go out the window with that. So, I'd prefer to, but like I said, I'd be happy. It's not like I'd sit here if I found out it was flat.
Okay, I'm not the person to convert you to a flat earther, but I'm gonna fuck with you. Okay, I want you to rent a helicopter. Okay, and I want you to take the helicopter straight up in the air. I want you to hover for 30 minutes, and I want you to land, and I want you to tell me, where did you land?
I mean, right. Well, that's hypothetical. Hey, look, I don't.
People are unsubbing from you because you're not a flat earther.
He doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be a flat earther. It has nothing to do with the information.
A stick in the ground in Egypt, another stick in the ground here. And do all that. The point is no point talking about like hypothetical experiments in a conversation. We have different points of view. The point that I was coming to about it was I'd be fine to be a flat earther. It wouldn't break my world. I'd find it funny if someone went, the world's flat. I'd be like, fucking knew it. Like typical, It would be, wouldn't it? It just fucking would be. Out of all the conspiracies, they'd be like, 9/11, no, that wasn't real. Fucking, the Panama Papers, that wasn't real. But Flat Earth, that one was. You'd be like, oh, fuck. And I don't care. I don't care what the shape of the Earth that is. But the point is that, like, this is division. The fact that we're even having to sit here and argue, there'll be people watching thinking that I'm an idiot for not believing in Flat Earth. There'll be people thinking you're an idiot for believing in Flat Earth.
No, it's not an idiot for believing in one or the other.
I'm not an idiot because I said the question's more important. I'd sidestep that.
Have you asked the question, like Campbell was saying? Have you looked into it and actually done the research? Because if you haven't, why not?
Well, but the point I'm trying to make. What is it? Well, when you say the research,
Down.
No, Beagle has a fair point, but at the same time, it's just Luke is looking into different subjects right now, and I guess what he's sharing with us has nothing to do with the
and that's the other thing.
Matter.
That's true too. Yeah.
And you hear that a lot, don't you? Is like they need to look into flat Earth. They need to look into flat Earth, but people are going to look into what they don't actually have to stop what they're interested in because you tell them to look into flat Earth. That's a thing I hear a lot, which is just
no. But there's certain things that we as researchers need to know about, and those things we at least should peek under the veil and see what's there. I mean, we know what the things we need to look into.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah.
Well, right. So
we have a responsibility to the viewers, to the community. People are looking at us for answers. Now we don't have them, but at least we should have something to give them. We should have at least done our due diligence.
When I was like, before I got involved in this, there was a guy you might have seen him. He's called like Divergent. Have you seen Divergent? He's got like videos. Yeah, right. I remember watching his videos and being like, whoa, this mud flood is amazing. I need to research this. And then he mentioned flat Earth, and I was like, fuck that. Right? I'm not saying that's how I think now, but that's how you think when you're in the mode. And that's how most people do this, right? They'll be coming in.
The same with hollow Earth and flat Earth years ago.
But yeah, exactly. It's like fishing, right? You're reeling it in, you reel too fast and it snaps, right? And if they're coming in and you hear flat Earth, you think, oh, I'm not being part of that. I'm out. And they'll throw away everything. They won't listen to a word you have to say, right? And which is fair enough because they've been told for years that, people that believe in this are idiots or believe crazy shit or believe in that. So they've been told to diverge away. The same with, COVID and stuff, right?
So we're supposed to keep our mouth shut?
Well, not
definitely not.
To keep people appeased? Fuck them.
No, not necessarily. But what I'm saying is, like, from my point of view, I don't bring up flat Earth. I just talk about history, right? It doesn't matter, right? If you guys bring it up, then it comes to serve. It has to. But like, I don't. I just talk about history and what's this Tartari, this that.
No. You're just getting started.
And Tartari is an easier way in as well to people's minds because it's not like history's not as ingrained as the globe, right? So it's.
I agree that you should share the information with people and make it available to them. The only thing we disagree on is I think you have more of a aggressive approach to the people who disagree about that issue. Like the way I would put it for you, which doesn't matter once again, but I would say like just try to consider where they're coming from. If you really are truly trying to convince people to come to the side, then try to understand. I
stayed off the internet for 10 years, okay, because I wanted that. I used to have an internet business and the internet consumed my life. So when I woke up, I got rid of the internet. I went dark for 10 years. It was fucking wonderful. Now, when I come back, you guys have come up with all these, politically correct rules as to how you act and interact with people on the internet. But see, I'm old school. When we have a problem with something, we speak up. We get in a conversation. We speak our minds. We don't like tiptoe around people. We say, hey, I don't agree with you, and this is why.
Tiptoeing, like, right? So when I talk
about a different way.
I agree with that.
Right, the tips of buildings in fucking Astrakhan, right? They could be Antiquitech, they could be just Christian monuments, they could be whatever, right? So I don't sit there and say, this is what it is. I just say, this is what it could be. What do you think? And it's exactly the same with flat. If you want to think the Earth's flat, that's for you. And I've learned for myself to not judge others based on their opinions, because like I said with Divergent, if I'd have turned his videos off, I wouldn't have learned a lot. Right? We have different opinions and we all have information. I've got information that you don't know, and you've got information I don't know. Right?
Here's the problem, though. I have a problem when I'm sitting there knowing that something you're saying is wrong. I'm not talking about flat Earth. I'm talking about there's other topics. Okay, here's an example. One time, Spartan Red, the meltologist, okay, he was saying that a building was a melted building, and I went and did the research, and clear as fuck, it was an art project that was built in Paris. And I showed the
was that the one with the bricks walls coming down onto the ground?
And he swore up and down that was full of shit. And I mean, come on.
But all you can do in that situation is take the high road, though, because that's what divides us from the elites and like the community that we're fighting against, the mainstream narrative that we're fighting against. That's how they behave. They're the ones who cancel other people. They're the ones who censor other people. They're the ones who.
If I've got better information than you, how do I get you to see it? How?
You do what you can, man. That's all you
Okay.
can do. You know what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
like-
It just depends on what you believe reality is. Like, you just do what you can do, and then you hope people see it. If you put your
Right,
energy and your
by
effort
that
into it, that's all you can really do.
By that logic,
It sucks. That's just reality.
It's
By
bullshit.
fucking not believing in it, because the point is that I'm bringing people to the same table, to the same topics that don't believe in it. So the people that hear you say flat Earth and be like, "Fuck that," I'm bringing them in by being like, "No, I don't believe in that, but this is this," right? Like, already I've had people messaging saying like, "Oh, you know, I agree that I don't believe in that either." So I'm glad, because if they heard that I believed in that,
That's not the one.
you know, and that's fine. The point is, it's okay if you want to believe in one thing, that's
You are.
cool.
That's
But
it.
the
That's
point is,
it.
bringing everyone to the table is good, because if someone
No.
doesn't it, they can come to me and get my opinion, which is, oh well, I do think it's round, but I also agree on all these other things about, you know,
It's the
flooding.
one.
Sorry,
You just showed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone said in the chat, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
You're
Exactly.
right.
You can only do what you
Right
can do
there.
and put the information
it.
out there.
That's the one. He was saying that as a melted building. It
Oh,
is
yeah,
it is a steel frame structure.
Yeah.
I have shown pictures of the inside of that thing being torn down.
Pulled out by the facade. It's not red brick.
But all you can do in that situation is point out the flaws in his theory and share it. And then after that, you've done what you can, man. There's nothing more you can do. Obviously, his ego plays a role in it. You know what I'm saying? His ego is preventing him from knowing the truth because he's worried about clickbait or whatever else.
I just moved on because with the meltology, I realized that these people are so freaking had their heads so far up their ass that it was just not even worth it. So I just moved on and just, I figured, if you've ever seen the movie Super Troopers and they go in, they say, okay, you deal with the fucking hog, you know, and they walk out. And that's what I did. I was like, you deal with the hog. I mean, I've tried, and you know, it's just not worth the time anymore. You deal with it. Yeah, I mean, you know, but I don't know. It's frustrating.
Right, but the way that the enemy works, and this is the same with COVID. I don't like to say because I don't get demonetized or whatever, but it's the same the way that it works. It doesn't matter about who's right or wrong. It's about painting an image. So, for example, with Flat Earth, they've worked very hard to make flat earthers look like idiots, right?
Sure.
With Netflix programs, etc. Right? So there's two ways to look at it. One is they've made made them look like idiots because it's the truth, which again I'm fine to accept if that was the case. Or two is, which is exactly what they do. They get into the group. So like, you know, the CIA dude gets into our group and then he starts spitting in your ear little things that he wants you to put out. And it's the same with, if you think of like Simon Dan, right? The guy.
I don't even think they bother with it anymore. I think we're past all that. They don't care.
No, you honestly don't understand how deep this shit goes. Simon Dan, for example, like a normal dude, he's a real guy, he has his own channel, but what you won't realize is that it'll be someone nearby to him, giving him little ideas that's been helping his channel, that's been boosting his numbers, and it'll just be a friend.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he won't realize it's just a friend, but a friend is going, oh, you should do a video on this. Oh, I've just seen this video. You should do that. And to him, he won't realize that he's got an actual agent telling him what to do. He
Sure.
And that happens in every group. It's celebrities. A celebrity gets it. You know, someone gets in the group, telling them what to do, which film to go for. And it's literally like CIA or fucking, you know, something higher. And the same thing. So, like, with Flat Earth.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what Flat Earth is, though. It's the divisive topic that might turn away the average person from listening to you because they think, oh, I can't agree with a Flat Earther. Right?
I don't care.
No,
that's not my loss.
What I'm saying is that's what they've done, right? That's what they've done by creating an atmosphere.
Here's the thing. I'm going to speak my truth, and if you get it, fine. If you don't, fine. I'm not going to pander to and pussyfoot around and not tell you what I believe and what I think, because then I'm just holding back and I'm not sharing everything I know. So if you don't like it, that's okay. Move the fuck on.
You're farming.
If you do, great.
Can I ask you a question? So as you're farming, how do you get your hogs into the pen? Do you go in and just fucking throw them? Or do you guide them, or what? Do you have a system? Do you ease them in? Or
no, you gotta okay, let's say they're on a trailer. You got to put like plywood up and build a barrier so you kind of got them into that.
Right.
So why do you want the people that you disagree with to go away? Is the point at the end of that? You know what I'm saying?
No. I wasn't saying go away. I was saying guiding them to the truth.
Exactly. No. He said fuck off if they don't agree with them. You know what I mean?
Fuck off. Oh, right. Sorry.
I'm not going to spend my time trying to make someone believe me. Okay. If you don't believe me, fine. I'm not gonna like be upset, or I'm not going to try to chase you down and say, no, come back, please. I've got some information you need.
No, don't do that. But
if you don't get it, and if you come to me and you go, oh my gosh, this nut's talking about flat earth, I can't have that. I'm going to go find somebody that talks about mud flood and globe earth. Well, go find them.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, people might appreciate that you're like looking out for that. Like, as in, people might think like, "Oh shit, this guy believes something different, but he understands that I don't, and he like still cares that I'm like here to listen." And I think that's the difference. It's not about you pandering; it's about you saying like, "Look, I get it. You think that what I'm saying is crazy, but I still want you to hear."
Also, like a bull in a china.
So the question is, should we get Dave Weiss on to flat smack Luke?
Is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah, man.
Look, if
Dave Weiss, he's the man.
Campbell
this is the thing.
a very gentle soul.
We're losing people watching us.
Back again.
What?
And you're all wrong. It's trash can Earth model. All right, I proved it, and
but
it is. We've got the video. We have the video. Trash can Earth.
And with that rude interruption,
God is not God.
I would just like to interject that it's all about just putting facts and ideas forward in my model, and that I don't try to convince anyone of any sort of belief, and I myself don't even know a lot of the time with a lot of the ideas or the presenter's ideas if it is the case or not. It's just an open discussion of the informations, these evidences, and the research. And as John Levi always says, I don't know, so you're just spitballing here.
I don't know. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
when I first started,
and as far as flat Earth, I still see.
I wanted to see if the rest of the world saw the same thing, and if they did, I looked at more. And
originally I would be triggered by flat Earth material, and after being immersed in your guys' community and all of the evidence you have presented over the last couple of years working with you, it's like I now can no longer say that I can 100% prove or believe that the Earth is spherical or flat, because both models actually work 100%. You can't disprove either, and you can prove both, so that really nobody freaking knows. It could be a trash can, it could be a toilet bowl Earth, it could be a toroid, it could be a sphere, it could be a disc plane. We don't know, and the people that do know are intentionally not showing us or providing us the evidence, and that a polar expedition to the north and to the south are the only way that humanity is going to both unite and figure out that aspect, as well as what's hidden there, because regardless, there's the hidden history, the hidden lands, and hidden information that will verify it all.
Right, yeah, just to clarify, so what you said about it being flat or round, right? They can be both, right? It can be both, right? And there's nothing, right? If we live in a simulation,
Luke, I agree. I've come to multiverse understanding, and that
creators.
And simulation is another one of those multiverse dimensions.
Exactly,
and that's all of them.
That's the thing. It is
power projection. There's 25% of people believing it's flat. 25.
And the reason he did that is because some folks can take the lower truths and some folks can take the higher truths. My lower truth is that the Earth is flat. My higher truth is it's all a simulation.
Right. Well, it's all of them simultaneously.
I mean, well, to be fair, mathematics.
In a simulation, yes.
Mathematics.
It's possible. Anything's possible.
Right? Mathematics tells you you're in a simulation, because if in the universe one single person gets the ability to simulate the universe, right, then that means in his simulated universe that one person will simulate a universe, and that becomes exponential, which means there is a infinity to one chance that you're in the original real universe. You're more likely to be in a simulation than the real one.
Well, and that there's a chance there are multiple universes, timelines converged into one at this point, that we could actually, you got like Campbell and Beags, you both could be literally on a disk sphere on the same, living, interacting in the same multi-dimensional matrix as us, and for someone else could be on a toroid, someone else could be on a sphere, who the F knows, but it could be all of them simultaneously. We can't prove otherwise.
Exactly.
It could be. Yep.
We see through our perspective. We don't all see the same thing. We don't. And that's what people think. They think that we all see the same thing, and they spend all this time trying to say, no,
evidence of one specific one and research it and prove it, it proves to be the case, so that no matter what, all of them prove to be real simultaneously.
I hate to bring this guy up, but he had a very good point. Tekashi 69, okay, he was explaining his name the other day, and he was saying if you put a 69 on the ground and I'm looking from one angle and you're looking from the other, I see 69 and you see 96. Which one of us is correct?
Both
that's
are.
the meaning of my name. That's what he explained. And he was right.
It's the person who's standing to the. It's clearly two fish when you're standing to the west. I mean, come on, it's a Christian symbol. What are you talking about, Bagel?
Okay.
That's what I mean, that my birthday's 6/9.
Oh, that's Pisces.
my birthday.
Yeah, you said Illuminati confirmed. I said that sounds like a fun time.
Well, you know, the actual number of creation is supposed to be 6, isn't it? Wait, it's 6 and 9.
Days of creation.
Upside down. But worlds.
Yeah, worlds. Yeah.
When I'm doing heavy DMT, I see the world as just 6s, and I think that is science enough. You know, don't need any science past that.
Illuminati confirmed.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
Illuminati confirmed.
It's come out. And 9, of course, is the God number, right? Everything equals 9. 9 equals itself. You can do whatever you want with 9, and you get 9.
Just don't say 19.
And of course, 666 is 18, which is 9. So I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? It's all 9s. It's not 19. It's 9.
What was it that Tesla said? Was the quote, everything is what?
When you understand. When you understand that everything is
to the universe and frequency, vibration, and energy, or some shit.
Hey, the original.
There's a 369 one. I think it's like 369 is the key to the universe or something.
Yes, that's more like it.
Yeah. Right, what's that? Hey, yo, guys, the original 666 was actually 616, right? Which is the number that the Marvel universe gave to our universe. It's universe 616, right? Which is the
Marvel
original
universe. Really?
Yeah, in Marvel.
So it's basically an area code.
But
so we're just an area code on the Marvel buddy telephone.
Yep, and we live in the
WhatsApp thing.
Big up, Jay.
Yes. Hey, Jay Dreamers, how you doing? So we've been going for 3 hours and 15 minutes, and we seem to have gone sideways beyond belief.
I'm so glad we looked at that.
Straight sideways, all the way into trash can Earth. And one last point on that is you look at Stellium Titan research and all of that, and it seems to be also proving that the tribal or shamanistic views the North American indigenous being on a turtle, elephants on top of a turtle, and that these giant elephants could potentially be it. So who really knows? We could be on a turtle in the sea of the waters above.
Hypothetically, if you had a flat dimension and then you introduced multi-dimensions, if you just did that in 360 degrees, you just end up with a multi-dimensional sphere again.
Right? And so the one-dimensional plane is a moment of time which does exist. Like that dimension is for each moment from every person's perspective. And that I'm believing in putting together
you have the problem because it doesn't contain space, and you have to hit the third dimension which has to contain space. So where did the space come from?
You got it. And then you combine them and you get into a higher one and you start interacting with more and you get into these higher dimensions. But that the key breakdown of these one dimension disk planes, it goes into the portals and the lunar and solar eclipses and equinoxes, and I feel that it might be a way to travel sideways between them, but that's going way too woo-woo to try to go into right now, 3 hours deep, and I'll talk about that another day.
Well, guys, I think Campbell he's about tired of us, so
yeah,
let's give him a break for today.
I agree.
And we
Thank
can
you very
always
much for being on my channel, guys. I really
Thank
appreciate
you all
it.
for being here.
Historia and subscribe.
Yes, and you'll find the link to Ancient Historia.
Subscribe
to Historia in the description.
All the other ones. Autodidactic 2, Spiral Up, Stuff Beags 2, Tartarian Truth TV, BurnEye, and Crypto Alchemist.
Don't subscribe.
Don't forget your mother as well. She was lovely.
And thank you.
Yes,
and
oh,
you're
yes, yes. Big shout out to Mrs. Bernie.
All invited back for
Alchemist.
Tuesday's Valentine's date with Dutch Synths that will be happening. So I'm going to be scheduling that. And Cam Biggs, Luke, I think Shem should be invited into the Alternative History WhatsApp group if you guys agree.
No, I don't have WhatsApp.
No,
so
that kind of hair.
You don't have to.
You'll see all the stuff. If he scrolls back, he's going to find what Beags was saying a month ago.
GoFundMe.
It's all good.
$1,000. We will shave Shem live on camera.
No, I'll never
shame. Yeah, exactly. So if you want us to do things, if you want to see, a nipple or a shirtless person, just give us money. We're cheap.
Yeah,
we will sell out.
I still have the offer. If someone's willing to pay $1 million, I will do what it takes on OnlyCam to create a homunculus experiment into a jar.
100,000 subs.
Bernie, like that. That's not how you say it. You've got to say if someone's willing to pay $1 million. Oh my God, Luke's doing it. He's doing it for free. Oh my God, I'm losing control. Everyone wants to be an OnlyCam.
I am.
Someone is cheap, Luke.
Oh my God, we love you all. Have an amazing day.
Have a good night.
Description.
Thanks, guys.
Bye bye.
It's time to kick it old school.